to face, right? But the fact that we are in this state today, it is incredibly important for all of us to understand what is it, what's happening, right? Because only when we understand what's happening will we ever be able to decode and, of course, take new steps, right? When Evan reached out to me, I said, while there is a lot of yarn available out there, a lot of people are sharing, what can be done, what cannot be done, and so on and so forth. I would like to talk about two very important things. Something very, very meaningful, something very, very impactful, something that touches you and me exactly in the same manner. And the two things that I want to talk about today in this entire webinar, one is in such times of crisis, as entrepreneurs, and I'm assuming that most of you who are listening to me today are entrepreneurs. So as entrepreneurs, how do you really address your customers at this point of time? What can you do that fundamentally creates a very, very strong relationship between your customers and you? That's number one. That's the first burning problem that we are going to solve in this webinar. Second is something that is way more important. The second thing that I want to talk to you about, to all of you, in fact, about, is something really, really meaningful. It's something that that occurred to me, which fundamentally changed my life, and of course, it will change yours as well. And I guarantee that to you. That one thing is the answer to one simple question, which will take away all of your mental health worries, which is, a lot of people today tell me, a lot of entrepreneurs especially tell me that they have a lot of stress, they're unable to make salaries, there's a lot of anxiety, they're unable to face a lot of things, and not just that in their professional life, also in their personal life. So I am going to fundamentally give you an answer to the most basic, to the most fundamental core of your life, which is, who are you? Aap kaun hai? In Hindi, of course, right? So let's begin with this webinar. And as we go across, how we are structured is, I will share my thoughts and my learnings with you in very, very practical steps. No theory, because I don't believe in theories much. So that's number one. And then for about 40 odd minutes, I'll speak with you. And then in the last about 20 minutes, I'm happy to take a lot of questions and answer them till the time permits. So let's begin first. I'll first start with my own introduction. So, I'll quickly tell you about where I am right now. So I work with a company called Bharat Business. I'm the Vice President of Products there. So we are an education tech company. We are the largest Hindi language content creator for entrepreneurs and business owners across the world. My background is of Hike, Messenger, Jabong, and PayU. And the third qualification that I have is something that I'm really proud of, which is I'm also a Pandit of the Panchabhuta, which are the 5 elements of nature, and we'll talk about it. This is fundamentally going to be the most meaningful session that I've ever done till date all my life. I've taken a lot of sessions, spoken at a lot of places, large conferences, small ones, but this is going to be the most meaningful ever. Because of course, as life progresses, you keep learning new things and meaningfulness sets in. Let's address the first question first, which is, in this time of crisis, how do you address your customers? How do you ensure that that your customers really convert from just being transactional in nature to actually being in a relationship with you? So here's my thought on that. Please ensure that if you are a founder of a company, or if you've got a team of people around you, which are people that are your second layer of management or senior folks in your company, please ensure that today onwards you start creating a lot of video content. And when I say video content, I just don't mean that you start promoting your products, that you start talking all the good things about yourself. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Because people relate with people. People don't relate with products, especially in times of crisis. Imagine if somebody was to come to you today and sell something to your family, which is of no need to you. How would you feel like? Whether he or she is your friend, you would still not feel good about it. So number one, please ensure that as founders or as key employees of a company, start expressing yourself. Because today is a time of crisis, and generally what happens is, in times of crisis, a lot of people go inwards. Instead of being expressive about it, they go inwards. And when they go inwards, they start getting confused. A lot of questions, a lot of doubts set into their come into their brains. But realize the fact that even your customers, they are humans at the end of it all, right? Who you're transacting with is a human. They have fundamental emotions, they have thoughts, they also want that basic support and realization, and they would always want to ensure that they transact with partners that are there for life, who stand by you, right? So number one, please start creating a lot of videos, and in those videos, talk about yourself, talk about your vision, talk about why did you start it, thank your customers, ensure that your customers, they genuinely understand you. There might be a lot of customers who might have bought your product or your solution or your service only because they needed it at some point of time, or maybe your pricing was good, or maybe something else. But that was a gap that was being fulfilled, with your product or your service. But today is the time to fulfill a human gap. Today is the time to communicate. Today is the time to build families, to build relations, and not really a time to fulfill gaps or fill gaps with a certain glue that will cease to exist once again when crisis occurs again. So today is the time when you start creating a lot of videos and start talking to your customers. Talk to people. When you would do that, you will let it out and ask them in return to let it out. Ask your customers to talk to you. Do a lot of Facebook Lives. This is one of the greatest tools that you have today while you are locked down at your home. Facebook Live or such a webinar is one of the greatest tools, in fact. Remember the fact that this is the time to build relationships and not to sell. For a while, I'm saying, if you were to just stop relating to everything in terms of revenue, everything in terms of top line and bottom line, and in between top line and bottom line, what exists is the value that you offer. So when you think about this value, what you would realize is your mode of delivering something will change. People will start perceiving you very, very differently. Your energies will change drastically because you will become very, very meaningful to the people out there. In fact, this is the time when the conversations of whether your product is good or not, whether your pricing is good or not, they cease to exist. This is the time when humanity takes a step forward. And this is why the greatest, and the most important thing that you need to understand about marketing in the times of crisis is to understand that top line and bottom line, these are very fickle conversations to have. The most important conversation to have is, dear customer, dear XYZ, dear ABC, am I solving your problem valuably enough? Am I there with you? Am I valuable enough to you? Right? How can I be more valuable to you? How can I create that impact for your family? How can I just ensure that that your business thrives due to me? Tell me more about yourself. I want to understand you not just as a line item in my CRM, such that automated email marketing happens or drip campaigns happen. No. I just want to understand you. I just want to understand you very deeply, because for the next 21 days or the number of days that are left in the lockdown, I sincerely do not recognize you as a revenue figure in my company. Instead, I recognize you as somebody whose life I'm impacting, whose efficiency I'm impacting, whose job I'm impacting, whose career I'm impacting, whose family I'm impacting. And so are you, dear customer. You are also impacting me, my life, my family, my job, my career, my aspirations, everything. Talk about it. So the more that you will talk about it at this point of time, ensure that your creative team, if you have a creative team, or if you just are a team of 1 or 2 people, very, very young startups, please ensure that you start leveraging Facebook Live. And if you cannot, let's say if you're not as vocal, or if you're not confident of going live out there, do one thing. There are a lot of ways out there. There are a lot of softwares that help you do deferred lives, right? Wherein you can actually record an entire video and you can still portray it as a live video on Facebook. So there are a lot of softwares available. There is a software called OBS. Do search for it, OBS. As you would search for it, you will realize that it's a brilliant software which is completely free, and of course you can use it to do a lot of deferred lives. Now, why I said this in a very simplistic format is due to one simple reason. I sincerely want each and every entrepreneur at this moment to start thinking about how valuable am I, not just in the form of an NPS score, but how valuable genuinely am I to my customers, to the ecosystem around me, to the sangat around me, to the environment around me. Do this. This is very, very important. When you would start doing this, you will realize that the walls between your customer and you will automatically break. In fact, you will realize probably post-corona, a lot of your drip campaigns, a lot of your automated email marketing, a lot of your Facebook campaigns might just evolve, might just change, because your customers would have gone through a very strange, life-changing, life transformation process. A lot of them might be feeling the same stress and anxiety that I'm going to address for you in this webinar. How do you address it for them? One of the smartest things that this company called Upgrad has very recently done is they've partnered with another company, I'm forgetting their name, to give sessions on stress and anxiety management and taking care of your mental health to all of their customers. This is brilliant. This is a great move for one simple reason, that this shows at least the intent. I don't know how meaningful is it going to be, but at least it shows their intent. That's number one. So as the second step, I would always advise all of you to include one thing strategically in your marketing kit, once and for all throughout your life. This is not just about the times of crisis, I'm saying. This is originating from this time of crisis, but put it there forever, which is every time a customer signs up for a product, a customer pays you, he makes you a payment for your product or your service or your whatever solution that you offer to your customers. Offer them a set of videos, offer them a free toolkit. Say that if you were to watch these 10, 12 or 15 videos, or these live sessions by a certain organization, you will feel a lot more relaxed. You will feel a lot more calm. You will get a lot more clarity in life. And we are offering it for you for free. Absolutely, such that you as a customer become a lot more happier, a lot more calm, a lot more in control of yourself. And we want this to happen to you because we sincerely want that you just don't keep a transactional relationship with us. Instead, we sincerely want to add value to your life. And I'll tell you a path to actually implement this. This is of incredible importance. Trust me. If you were to right now for the next 30 seconds forget that Paritosh is Bada Business, Height, Jabong or PayU, if you were to just listen to Paritosh as Paritosh, I will tell you just one simple thing. At this moment, close your eyes and take a deep breath and leave it out. Life will be successful. Right now, all the anxiety and the stress that is occurring to you, and trust me, in this webinar, I'll take it out of you, and I guarantee that. But something that is occurring to you right now, just leave it out, because life is a lot more than how it occurs to you. And we'll come to that. But ensure that in your marketing toolkit, you put this as an offering, as something that you don't charge for, something that you are giving back to your customers. And say that we are giving this set of videos, or this entire kit to all of you. We are giving it to all of you, right? For your families, for your wife, for your children, for everybody. Because we want to see a happier world. We want to see a much more calmer world. We want you to be successful. So these are my two important thoughts, two important executables as far as marketing is concerned. Number one, to summarize, please leverage videos and Facebook Live sessions. Number two, start and in that number one, start communicating with a lot more authenticity, a lot more calmness. Start creating meaningful relationships. Invite your customers over these Facebook Lives if you want to. And if not, then please ensure that at least you start communicating across to all of your customers. So this was the first part of this webinar, which is, how do you fundamentally change marketing or structure marketing, throughout this time of crisis. And of course, please hold on your questions. I definitely will take all of your questions, and I have time. Don't worry about that. The second part of this webinar is extremely important. Listen to me very carefully, and listen with all the intent that you have, because this part, I promise to you, will once and for all change your life. And this is no theoretical motivational nonsense. This is real. I will start with a story. 5 years back, and this is my own personal story, by the way. 5 years back, I went through a major rehaul in my own life. I used to be very, very disturbed, extremely disturbed, when I used to see people on streets having no food, no clothes to wear. I saw this one scene at a market called Nehru Place in Delhi, where I stay, wherein I was going to buy some accessories for my laptop, and there was this girl who was sleeping without food or water on a cardboard sort of a mat, right, in hot Delhi temperature, while her father was selling water bottles, the plastic water bottles that come, right, the packaged water. Now that completely shattered me, right? That imagine the fact that such is life when we can spend all the money that we want, on accessories, on everything else. But why is there such massive imbalance in the world? And I just couldn't fathom the fact that I'm there, you are there, we are having this webinar in the closed comforts of our homes with all the facilities available to us. But why is there such an imbalance of life? And the second question that really used to disturb me was, what's my purpose? Is my purpose making a lot of money? Is my purpose, running a happier family, build a large house, put some money, a chunk of money in my daughter's account and marry her one day, and that's about it? Is that what I'm here for, fundamentally? Right? So to answer this question, I was fundamentally not able to answer these questions for myself. I met a lot of pundits. I met a lot of philosophers, not just in India, outside of India. I went to deep regions in Shimla, Himachal, some regions in the Himalayas, not of course to the Himalaya Parvat, but met a lot of sadhus, sages, rishis, incredible sets of enlightened people, people at Wharton, at UPenn, Berkeley, researchers, scholars, all kinds of people. And all of the conversations fundamentally led me to two places. One are the Vedas, and the second are the Upanishads. These are ancient Indian texts, just for your information. Especially, I was directed to one Upanishad called the Mandukya Upanishad. This is one of the smallest Upanishads, but one of the most complex to understand, one of the most complex to decode. But now, I'm going to decode this entire Upanishad in front of you in the simplest possible manner. Before I start doing that, about 3.5 years back, when all of this got decoded for me, all of the stress and anxiety of my life just went away. It all just went away. Incredible clarity came in, incredible happiness came in. So much energy came in that today, I sleep for exactly 4 hours, no more than that. I'm up at 3:30 a.m. every morning. because from 3:30 a.m. till about 5:30 a.m. I do certain things, and I'll talk about them. And and at any given point of time, I am incredibly energetic, like full of energy. And I'll give you that reason, and I'll also give you the path as to how could you create it. So as I said, the ultimate question of life is, who am I? I'm sure a lot of you might want to get the answer to this question, because we are talking about mental health. We are talking about the fact that how can I just get out of these anxieties, this stress, this depression, all of what's not working for me. Life is just not working for me. I'm working so hard. I'm unable to raise funds. My employees, I'm unable to pay their salaries, and so on and so forth. So listen to this very carefully. Our body, at the very core fundamental, like at the core fundamental of it, is nothing but atoms. Living cells, which further broken down are atoms. By the virtue of what we have learned in science, atoms, are particles that emit energies. So ultimately, we are all emitting energies. At the core of everything, you and I, we are energies. The day I understood it, the day I understood it, it all just became so very clear to me. I am an energy. So who are you? You are an energy. Everything else that you've just made up for yourself, everything is something that you made up for yourself. When the thing that you made up for yourself ceases to exist, example, the fact that you want to raise funds in your for your company, the fact that you want to make a lot of money, the fact that you want to be hugely successful, the fact that you want to look good, and everything else. Ultimately, these are all the things that you're making up for yourself. At the core of everything, you are an energy. The day I understood it, something very incredible happened. I realized the fact, it just became so clear that if I could reach a state of absolute infinite energy, life will automatically start occurring to me. Because by the virtue of the laws of physics, if I'm at a much higher state of energy, I will attract things towards me. It's as simple as that. Things or people or opportunities, whatever, I will just start attracting life towards me. And that is exactly what happened. But let me break this thought with a very interesting example. And you guys might relate to this example really well. A lot of you might have watched this movie called The Matrix. Remember The Matrix, Keanu Reeves, Matrix, and all the numbers flying in, and the virtual world and all of that, right? If you remember the last scene of this movie called The Matrix, wherein there is Keanu Reeves standing here, and then there are the sentinels, and the bad guys, the bad characters, the bad or the negative energies who are right in front of him. They quickly double up, and they take out their gun, and they point their gun to Keanu Reeves, and they fire. There are bullets coming at Keanu. And then suddenly something very interesting happens in the movie. Keanu Reeves, something happens to him. He says, he does this action. He just puts out his hand up in the air, and the bullets, they drop down. And in that moment, he suddenly realizes something very powerful about himself. He realizes that all of the matrix is nothing but the energy. All of the matrix is made up of exactly the same elements that I am made up of. So if I could reach an incredibly high state of energy, I can make any environment or anything, absolutely any ecosystem to occur to me in a certain way. I can just make things occur to me in whatever way that I want them to. And that is why only at that moment he starts fighting with all the sentinels or the bad guys very effortlessly. He makes no effort. He just moves his, and if you guys want to recheck or double check on my facts on what I am sharing, please go on YouTube. I'm sure you will be able to watch this scene there, maybe tonight or sometime when you kind of get time. So he effortlessly starts fighting with all of these guys. But throughout the movie, he's just running away from them. He's running. Everyone is running. He's getting He's getting hurt, he's getting punched, there's blood, there's everything which is negative. But the moment he realizes the ultimate truth, who am I? It all becomes effortless, right? Have you ever thought of the fact that why was Keanu Reeves named the One and not Superman or Spider-Man or the Keanu Man or some man in the movie? Because ideally, as far as marketing is concerned, naming something the Man would have been a much more smarter marketing move, right? Because it just makes it a lot more easier to remember: Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Keanu Man, right? But he was called the One. He was called the One, right? And the Oracle called him the One. I'll tell you why. It's very interesting, and you might find it funny. It might occur to you as funny. It might occur to you as insightful. There are 42 participants currently in this webinar. It might occur to you in 42 different ways. Trust me on that. And I understand that very, very well. So he was called the One for one simple reason. Very, 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 very few, probably 1 out of a lakh, ever understand in their lifetime the fact, the answer to this question, who am I? The ones who do it are the ones. And if you realize the entire Matrix, the movie, is fundamentally based on this principle, which I am now going to share with you, which is what I realized 3.5 years back when it all just unlocked for me. So the whole Upanishads and the Vedas talk about just 5 simple things called the 5 elements of nature. So today we are all stressed. This time of crisis is because of the coronavirus, right? So the coronavirus, is it alien? No, it is not. I mean, it is a resultant of our creation, right? Everything is right here. It is nature. It is an abnormality of nature. That's it. There is nothing else to it. It's part of us. The fact is very, very simple. Something that is part of us is not actually meant to harm us. But how it occurs to you harms us or benefits us. So the ultimate state that, now listen to this very carefully. This is very interesting. The ultimate state in which you are right now at this moment will decide whether you have stress, anxiety, or depression in the same moment, whereas somebody else might be super happy, incredibly excited, life would be working out for him or her. Everything will just open up from all directions. There are opportunities coming in. There is money flowing in the bank. Everything is happening. And by the way, it's happening right now to me. It's not a joke. But how? It's simple. What you need to understand is how life occurs to you. And I'll break this down for you now. How life occurs to you, before you understand that, you have to understand that everything on this planet, everything, your laptop, your mobile phone, the software that you're watching this webinar on, yourself, your body, everything, I mean, everything, right, is made up of 5 elements: earth, air, water, fire, and ether or space. It's called the Panchabhuta, right? Excuse me. So everything, the coronavirus, by the way, is a resultant of these 5 elements itself. It's not alien. It hasn't really entered Earth's atmosphere from Mars or Jupiter. It's right here. A very, very few people ever are able to understand this one fact of life in their ultimate living lifetime, that all of these 5 elements, earth, air, water, fire, and ether or space, are infinite. The earth is not ending. Fire is right around you. It's right at the core of where we live, the earth, right? The air is endless. The sky is endless, and so is the space. Everything. And so is water, by the way, sorry. Everything is endless. It's infinite. It is 72% of your body and mind is water. It's infinite. Right. The sad part is that our fancy education has led to stress and anxiety, but it never actually taught us who we are. Because if you and I would have actually been able to understand who we are, we would have never actually gotten into stress or anxiety or any kind of mental health issues at all. So this is how. So this is what now you need to understand. all of these 5 elements, how you are engaging with these 5 elements versus how present or how consciously am I engaging with these 5 elements, that defines what state of energy are you in. There are 5 states of consciousness or energy, as they call it. The first one is something that we all have by default, called doubt or question. We all love to question. We all like questioning. We say, you know what? The moment I get an answer to my question, I feel empowered. I feel so good. Of course you do. Because suddenly you feel that, you know what? I have been able to control an answer. But this is a cycle that will never end for you. Because after a question and an answer and a question and an answer and a question and an answer, fundamentally, what will happen to you is, or let's say first let's say ask another question, which is, why does a question ever occur to you? A question occurs to you because of a state of doubt. As an example, you are going in a shopping mall and you saw a t-shirt which is super cool. It is otherwise it would be like, let's say 4,000 rupees in maximum retail price, MRP, but right now it is at 80% discount. And suddenly you doubt, is this t-shirt right? Is this brand real? Am I buying the right stuff? And then you get into a questioning mode. And this is what you are never able to break out of. But when your energies are incredibly high, you actually break out of this entire state called doubt, and you come to the second state of reality or consciousness or energy called calm or peace. Right now, or at any given point of time in my life, you were to talk to me, I would be in 100% meditative state. And when I'm saying meditative state, I don't mean that I'm saying Om and my hands are all in a state I'm flying up in the air. No, I'm not. Right? I'm an entrepreneur. I work. I work absolutely crazy hours, like you guys, most of you guys would. But the moment I sleep, I am in deep sleep without a single dream ever, since at least the last 3.5 years, in exactly 15 minutes, no more. No more. There could be enough, sounds and noises around me. It just doesn't bother me at all. And when I wake up, as I said, I wake up at 3 or maximum by 3:30 every morning. The moment I wake up, in exactly 3 minutes, at max 5, I'm up as in I'm up. You could get me to write a business plan at 3:30 in the morning, and I will talk to you absolutely in the same energy. I mean, without even a single rub of the eye. I will not, because the brain will just suddenly light up with energy. The body will just suddenly react like that. That's the second state called calm. It just happens. You don't have to work anything extra for it. It just happens to you. The third state is called clarity. Clarity. As much chaos that you would, I'll give you a very interesting thought. I generally am hired by a lot of startups, or all my career I've been hired in startups or very early stage companies for one simple reason. When I'm put in chaos, everybody looks at it as chaos. To everybody else, it occurs as chaos. To me, the path is super clear every time, all the time, 100% clear. I just can't see chaos. Chaos never occurs to me. Never. Even in my family, chaos just doesn't occur to me. Even in times of coronavirus, chaos just doesn't occur to me. It does not. I'm clear. The fourth state is called confidence. Confidence doesn't mean overconfidence. Confidence means that I might start up, I might still fail, but even out of that failure, I would have created enough success for me and my stakeholders, because my decisions would be so much from calm, from clarity to confidence. And the last and the fifth state of consciousness or energy is called the Turiya Avastha. This is written in the Mandukya Upanishad. The Turiya Avastha is actually about time. It's time. So time, samay, right? Time. And time is something that nobody can hold. And this is now the moment in this webinar when I'll explain to you why is mental health so much a misunderstood, a still to be figured out topic. For one simple reason. Most of you or most of us, we are wanting to hold ourselves accountable to a certain outcome in a limited time. As an example, we want to reach 50 crores in revenue in just 6 months, or we want to raise $2 million in 6 months, or we want to get married to the girl of our dreams in 2 years. We want to get placed at the right place in 6 months. And when that does not happen, when you go back to the zeroth state of doubt or question, so for example, if there is any student right now in this webinar or somebody who's wanting to get a job, you would all be thinking about what will happen post Corona. Will I ever even get a job or not? Or as entrepreneurs, you might be thinking, what if I lose that customer? Will that customer, if that customer won't be making enough money, what will happen to my revenues? What will happen? The moment you come to the state of Turiya Avastha, you hit upon a realization that all the stress and anxiety of the world inside you, it occurs to you like that. A situation occurs to you as stress or anxiety only and only because you're holding yourself accountable to an outcome in a certain time. Now, of course, you can ask me a question that Paritosh, so are you saying that we should just not hold outcomes at all? Because if we don't have outcomes, if we are not running towards an outcome, how will we ever achieve it? If I don't write it in my strategy sheet that I want to raise $2 million, how will I ever raise $2 million, man? No, you are right. What I just said is do not hold yourself accountable to an outcome in the context of time. Create a goal. So today in my life, I'll give you an example. In my life, my personal goal is that I want to take the Vidya, this knowledge, this Vidya of the Panchabhuta to 100 crore people before I die. That's my goal. Before I die. That's my goal. But since I haven't said that I want to do this in the next 5 years or 6 years or 2 years or 10 years, I'm not anxious about it. And then I'll come to another thought. Just be with me in this moment. I'm not anxious about it. I'm not stressed because of it. And that is why what happens is, since as I told you, that in that movie, Keanu Reeves, suddenly when he understood that he is the highest energy in this entire space, he made the ecosystem work for him. He made the ecosystem occur to him in a certain way, which is favorable to his circumstances. That's what happens to me absolutely every day. Absolutely every day. The money that has to come in comes in my bank. The people that have to come in, they come in my life. The people, or let's say the opportunities that have to come in, they totally come in. The chaos that looks to others as chaos comes to me as an opportunity. And I of course, thrive in that. Why? Because of very simple reason. That I am in this state of energy wherein I've realized that I don't need to hold myself accountable to outcomes in a certain limited time. I only have to have goals. And since my energy is so high, my goals, these outcomes, they will occur to me. They will come to me because the 5 elements that are working for me at this moment, they are all working for me at this moment, right now, at this very moment. They will make life occur to me. I don't have to work for it. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be stressed, anxious, or depressed or anything. In fact, it is so incredible that in the past about 3.5 years, exact number I'm telling you, 1,301 people across the world. I've spoken to them. A lot of people who weren't having their relationships right, their businesses were going down badly. Just last night, I was speaking to a 42-year-old gentleman from Delhi, and he said, since the past 20 years, I've been on 3 medicines every day, morning, afternoon, and evening, to control my depression. He does he does a couple of crores every month in revenue. But he said that I've just been in depression for 20 years, and I promised him in 5 months, it will stop occurring to you. He was shocked. I said, the depression will stop occurring to you. It is occurring to you right now. It will just stop occurring to you. Just understand one thing, that you and everything around you, the table that your laptop might just be sitting on right now, or maybe your lap, wherever that or your phone, it is all, it must all give you energy, because ultimately that wooden table that your laptop is sitting on has come from the wood comes from the trees are in the ground. Again, the same concept, the five elements. Around the tree is air, it's being watered, there is a sky over it, and there is fire beneath. It's the five elements. That's the way it works. That's how, where your clothes are coming from, everything, it's just the way it is. That's it. The part is that nobody ever explained this to you in or at least to me, in such a simple way. Nobody did that. And the day I realized it, it just, everything just opened up. And since that day, I'll tell you, and I told you about that story, right? When I was at Nehru Place, I saw that girl sleeping on a mat. Today, every such situation, even before occurring to me, I'm able to solve it. So back then, I just saw that girl and I prayed to God that please God help her out. But today, I know that I have the power to very quickly make a Facebook update, and there are 10 people who will come along with the resources and help people out. This is, by the way, exactly what I'm doing. So when everybody was speaking about coronavirus, everybody was talking about how will the migrant laborers and workers be fed. There are, by the way, laborers and workers working right next to my home. There's a home being constructed right next to mine here in my colony. And what I did for them was I created micro jobs for them. I said, if I get something from the market, you will take it upstairs at my home and I'll pay you money for it. Right? So more such people, and then I made a Facebook update about it. And more such people did that. I got certain calls when people said, hey, Paritosh, you know what? We read your status update on creating micro jobs. We've just done that. And how we've done that safely is very simple. All of these guys, at least I in my colony, I've given them surgical gloves to wear, so that their hygiene is well. And when they enter my house, it's all safe, right? But just by the virtue of doing that, just by the virtue that the situation occurred to me very, very differently, I realized that that I can take different actions in life, and as I take different actions in life, I become a lot more successful. I make others a lot more successful. I become super happy, incredibly clear, a lot more confident. And I understand that time cannot be held. It's just a misnomer. You can't hold time. Bill Gates can't hold time. Steve Jobs couldn't hold time. Elon Musk can't hold time. It cannot happen. Realize one thing, and I will leave you, at least in this webinar, with this thought. When I got this vidya, and when I realized life is this simple, it is like this simple, right? There's no complexity to it. Stress and anxiety and everything which is playing around with your mental health is how life is occurring to you. You are not that way. You are not in stress. You are not in anxiety. You are not in depression. It's just the way life is occurring to you, and it's very solvable. It is hugely simple. It's not solvable by medicines. It is solvable with energy. It's that simple, because you are an atom. An atom, nowhere in physics is it written that an atom can get into stress or depression or anxiety. It just doesn't happen that way, right? So I would leave you with my last thought, which is, before I start taking questions, once I realized this vidya, it's written in our Vedas that it is very, very important to spread this vidya. It is very, very important to share this vidya with people, and that's what I started doing. I started a Facebook page three and a half, I think 3.5 years back, when it all started occurring to me, called Guru and Me. You can all, of course, reach out to that page. And I, along with a gentleman called Rakesh Ji, he's much senior to me. He worked with ONGC for 30 years. We started putting all of this knowledge in plain, simple, easy to understand English or Hindi language in a 21-page document. And until date, 1,300 people across the world have taken this document that we call the Panchabhuta chart from us. I can also tell you something very magical, hugely magical. And when I say magical, I mean magical, right? Um, a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we are very stressed. Who will fund us? Where will the money come from? Good question. I love this question. Where will the money come from? Where is the next check going to come from? Will my customer fund me? Will my investor fund me? I don't know who funds me. I had no ideas who would or how would Guru and me sustain. I had no ideas. Absolutely zero zilch. My only intent was to spread the Vidya. That's it. It is magical that people who got benefited out of this Vidya, some large businessmen, incredible entrepreneurs in India, Florida, Canada, Australia, two in New Zealand, they started offering dakshina. Dakshina, the way it used to be offered way back in our old days. They started offering dakshina, and the system just started working by itself, like by itself, right? And why did they do it? Now I'll come to my first thought with which I started this webinar. Remember marketing? How I started this webinar? And I'll complete the circle. I always complete the circle. Life is like that. I'll complete the circle for you. They offered the dakshina without me even saying it. Only and only because they all, after speaking to me and of course Rakesh ji, got incredible clarity in their life. Incredible clarity. A lot of calm, and they were able to understand who they are. Stress and anxiety went away. And as I said, marketing, remember, a relationship got created with all of them. I actually don't know a lot of them. I just don't know a lot of them. But today, I would leave you with just this one thought, that to all of your customers, give them this power, make them feel good, take them out of their stress, and you'll realize what you will end up creating is incredible success. They will stand up by you, you will stand up by them. You will not at all have to go in stress, anxiety, or depression at all, because life will start occurring to you very, very differently. Remember, you are not in stress, you are not in anxiety, and you are not in depression. It is just occurring to you that way. That's it. It's just a matter of your energy is going to the next level of existence. That's it. That is it. There is nothing else to it. There is nothing else to it. And you will realize it right internally. It's right inside you, right? I am no different. I'm just an energy. I might have good clothes to wear. I might not have good clothes to wear. I might have a great car. I might not have a great car. It just doesn't bother me anymore. What definitely does is whatever that I'm doing in life, am I incredibly creating incredible value for the people in this webinar? Am I creating incredible value for all of you or not? On that note, I thank absolutely everybody, especially AIC RAISE, Eben, for making this happen, for giving me this opportunity to spread this Vidya and to help all of you, probably understand life a little more better. I sincerely feel that it's of value to you. I am happy to take questions. Please, feel free to shoot all kinds of questions that might be regarding your companies, your startups, or absolutely anything else. So I'll quickly look at the Q&A or the chat option.
Probably, I'll help you to ask the questions.
Oh, fantastic. So there is a question by Rohan, Social Birbal. I like that name, Rohan. How do I encourage my team in this time for giving their 100% even when there is no clear revenue model? Great question, Rohan. I think this might actually be a question that a lot of other people would like to answer as well. Just remember this fact. By the way, right now, even in Bharat Business, the company that I work with, even there we have a lot of challenges. We have 300 plus people in the company, and while right now we are making money and we are a self-sustained company, but there might be times when it will be tough. So what we've been able to do is very quickly we've looked at the efficiencies of people. So how we've, of course, we've inspired the people. So I, as a leader, I right now manage 4 different teams, 4 different departments across the company, and of course I'm working with each one of them, setting example by leading people, right, and being way more energetic than all of them put together in many ways. Setting with clarity, absolute clarity that this is it, and being very honest with all of them. So if it is not going to work for them, I will totally tell them it is not going to work for you. You need to figure out a new opportunity for yourself, right? But since you've clearly said that there is no clear revenue model, I think it is very important for you as a founder also, one, to be inspirational, and second, to be clear, and third, to be real to your people, right? This is no separate time. It's just how it is occurring to you. This is not a time of crisis. This is in fact an opportunity to plug out and rethink your business. Rethink your business. Can you convert your physical business into, or maybe create a different line of revenue? I'll give you an example. At Bharat Business, we just hosted a webinar, a company-wide webinar with 285 people who were live on that webinar, apart from the management. And in my speech to everybody, I said, I'm giving everybody, all 285 people, right, the last guy in the company to the last guy in the company, you need to give me one idea that will increase revenue in the company by creating a service offering that can be implemented right now. And in fact, within 48 hours, I got 3 such ideas from people who were just quiet. They were not giving these ideas before, but they happened. And we are actually implementing one idea already, by the way, just to let you know, it, right? So we've been able to create more revenues. So think about it, plug out and think about it. Don't hold yourself accountable to just one outcome, that this is my product, this is it. No, you can innovate, right? So that's my answer to it. Okay, the next question that I have is Dinesh Naik. For some reason, how to be in 100% meditative state, Dinesh. What I would love to do is for you to reach out to the Guru and Me page on Facebook. There might be a lot of volunteers there who are always volunteering their time. They would love to answer this question to you. But in a very short answer, the 5 states of energy or consciousness that I spoke to you about, you cannot be in a 100% meditative state by even doing meditation. Trust me, and I can ask this question to the 36 participants who are live right now. Tell me if any of you have or are doing any kind of meditation right now. When you stop doing it, when even in a day or in some days in a week, when you forget to do it, can you do you actually feel a little a little nod in your mode? I'm sure a lot of people actually tell me, today I'm not feeling too good because, I just failed to do my meditation. That's what happens all the time, because it's a very fickle thing. I don't do any meditations. I don't wear any stones on my hands. I don't do any special pujas, nothing. 5 elements, the Panchabhuta. That's it. It takes care of everything in life. Okay, cool. After that, Himanshu Sharma says, you said don't focus on time, but on your goal. But I read and heard from everyone who was successful that if you not attach time foundation with goal, then you might. Great question, Himanshu. I said, please realize, do not bound yourself to an outcome, not a goal. I said an outcome. Outcomes are not goals. No. So me taking the Vidya of the Panchabhuta to 100 crore people is a goal. It's not an outcome. An outcome versus the goal is, the outcome could be, I want to make 50 lakh rupees tomorrow. That's an outcome which is time bound. It will stress me out. So instead of doing this webinar, I would want 36 people in this room to pay me, I don't know, 10 lakh rupees each, or 2 lakh rupees each, right? But that's an outcome. That's where my relationship with you will change. I'm saying put focus on goal, and then ensure that you believe in your state of energy so much that the outcomes will automatically start happening to you. And they will, by the way, they will start happening to you in a time bound manner. Where it all fails for most human beings, in fact for all of us, is we start putting times to things that become unreal for us, because we all want it to happen so quickly to us. We want things to happen in every 6 months, 3 months, 2 months. Let us get a new customer, blah 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 blah. And when it fails, stress happens. Instead of time, believe your energies. The outcomes will occur to you exactly on time. Trust me, everything is time bound in your life. 100%. You can just work as hard as you want to, like a duck. You can just be working as hard under the water. But the fact is very real that whatever that has to happen in your life will happen exactly dot on time. The only thing that you can do is accelerate how life occurs to you. That's it. Nothing else. And you might this might sound gibberish to you, but go to any pandit, go to any enlightened person in your life that you know, and please, you will realize that they will answer the same. What are you doing in between 3:30 and 5:30 in the morning? Anonymous. So Mr. or Miss Anonymous, all the people whose Panchabhuta charts are created. I do a certain practice every morning, wherein my energy is being transferred to all of these people. Now again, it might sound very gibberish, but this is real. And as you guys just come, look, I can't go ahead and prove this to you. Only when you get into that state of energy, you'll realize that this is the way it just happens. This is the way that it just happens, that some of you might just walk into a room, and even before you speak, everybody would say, wow, the guy has come or the girl has come, right? And everybody would be so energized because of your presence in the room. The energies get transferred. That's the way it works. All right, great. Sir, I am Satya. I'm working as professor. What innovative I can do for my students? Satya, a lot of things. In fact, I think the first thing that you should do is for your students, please, and I beg you for it, give them the 21st century skills. Tell them what's missing. Give them the skills that will enable them to live an incredibly fulfilling life. Instead of just getting a CGPA, it doesn't matter anymore. Trust me. And if somebody can prove me wrong on this webinar that CGPA still matters, please do. I am most happy to answer, to take that. But trust me, sir, and I'm so glad that you are asking this question. Please ensure that you give them, create your teaching pedagogy such that you are able to give 21st century skills to all of your students, and you can give them a lot of online courses that students can subscribe to. They can refer to, and tons of every organization, whether it is Bada Business, whether it is Udemy, whether it is Coursera, everyone has such courses. But give your students clarity. Give them clarity, something that I never had in my college, and I'm sure you might never have had in your college times. Give them clarity, get them mentored, and trust me, give them the Panchabhuta. It has no age. My daughter today is 3.5. By the time she is 5, I guarantee you she will know what it is. Right. Abhijit, please clear more about energy. Abhijit, I would still request you to please go to that Facebook page. I'll leave the link to the page here, and a lot of volunteers would probably help you out there. Ruchi Patakal, how do you start this work on mentoring companies in difficult times, as I'm closely into what you're speaking? Oh, phenomenal. So Ruchi, you know what? It is very simple. I think when you are already into something that I am speaking about, please ensure that you start communicating about it without the expectation of the fact that you will get customers. Again, don't hold an outcome accountable. In fact, just simply go ahead on LinkedIn and on Facebook, start posting your videos, start sharing your vidya to people. Realize the fact that the people, and I'll give you a reality, Ruchi. This is very cool for everybody, by the way, who's right now in this webinar. A lot of people tell me that people that will the Panchabhuta just occur to everybody? No, absolutely not. In fact, I can guarantee you, out of 36-40 people who have heard of it, probably just 6 will go to the Facebook page. Why? Because it is not your time right now. It is that simple. I don't want you to be my customer at all. At the right time, it will just happen. So Ruchi, when you will start telling about what you know to people, it will start occurring to them. To the ones that it occurs exactly in the same manner, they will start connecting with you automatically. The only thing that you have to do is, with all of your energy, boundless energy, just ensure that you share your vidya, your knowledge in the most in just the greatest manner that you can, right? With all of the energy inside you that you can. That's all that you need to do, nothing else. People will reach out to you automatically, and you will see that. Start doing it. Give yourself, for some reason from inside me, there is a number that's coming in called 4. I believe that if you start doing it from today, 4th day from now, something very interesting will happen to you. Please take my email ID from AIC folks and write to me if in 4 days something interesting happens to you. Ruchi also says, I want to personally connect with people who want help if they are stressed with work-life imbalances or difficult relationships. Please learn how to start this. Exactly the same way, Ruchi. Exactly the same way. Go on Facebook, go on Instagram, and do a lot of live videos of yourself. People, it will occur to them. It will automatically just occur to them. They will just totally reach out to you. I'll quickly move on. Anonymous attendee says, we are connected with this 5 elements, but sometimes we may not realize its presence. What can be done to feel its presence every time? Great question. In fact, the reality is the day you were born, till the day you cease to exist on the planet, you have the Panchabhuta around you. You just cannot negate it. In fact, this is the only thing that you can never negate. It's impossible. Can't happen. Sorry. Zilch. So it just can't happen, right? So the only way that you can get in touch is so there's a process to it. I will not get into the process right now, but please do go to the Facebook page that I've spoken to you about. There are volunteers out there who will help you understand this. But genuinely, the fact that this question is coming from you, whoever that you were, anonymous, Miss or Mr., I am glad that you asked this question for one simple reason, that everybody who's asking this question at this time of crisis in the world, their life is meant to be of the greatest impact in the world. Because the Panchabhuta is trying to reach out to you. Your energies are pulling it to yourself. It's not even a joke. That's the way it just fundamentally works. These are the fundamentals of life. This is the way it works. You are an atom. You are attracting this towards yourself. That's how it is. So please reach out to the Facebook page, and of course you might get some help. Or otherwise, as I had my own way in life, I met so many enlightened people, pundits. I traveled so much more, and so on and so forth. You could, of course, have your own process in life and go through it. Ajit says, if I don't make the plan happen, I get more angry. So how to control my anger? Of course. So Ajit, it's fairly simple that, if it's not that when you don't make a plan, you get angry. When you are unable to make that plan happen is when you become angry. Remember, right? So the moment, as I said, the moment you will hold an outcome accountable and yourself accountable to a time-bound outcome, anger is supposed to happen. Anxiety and stress is supposed to happen. It's normal. It's just the way it is, right? But what you need to do is put a goal. And what goal should that be? Not to make money. Don't put a goal that I want to make 50 crores by the end of this financial year. Say, I want to impact 1,000 people, customers, by the end of this year. And let's say if your product is worth, 10,000 rupees, so 10,000 multiplied by 1,000 is actually your revenue. But ensure that your goal is about people. Energies work with people. Your goal is about people, not about a time-bound outcome. Every time you create a time-bound outcome and you hang on to it, the only thing, as you rightly said, I'm not at all, in fact, I'm laughing over it because that's how it is occurring to me, and it will start occurring to you as well in a while, that it's not you who's getting angry. It's just the way it is occurring to you. So how, let's say, your plans not working out occur to you is anger, is anxiety, right? The only thing that you need to do, sir, Ajit, is understand that everything is the energy. Everything is energy, right? And that's how life should fundamentally occur to you. That's it. I mean, that's how it fundamentally works. So that was Q&A. There is a lot of chat questions that are there.
There is no chat questions. I just moved the chat questions to the question answers.
Got it. Got it. Thanks for doing that, Evan, man. Thanks. That was very, very thoughtful. Thank you.
Okay.
So, guys, on that note, I feel and I hope that this was of genuine value. Please do give me all of your feedback. Please do offer genuine feedback. On to AIC or to me. You could connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. I'm there. And before I go, lots of blessings. Lots of ashirwad to all of you, to your family, for your good health, for your success. And one thing that I would definitely leave you with is infinite energy. I, in this moment, will ensure that all of the people who are not even there in this webinar anymore, there are 32 of them, but at the highest point, it was about 42. So everybody who was there, gets absolute incredible infinite energy from me to all of you. So thank you very much for doing this. Lots of blessings, lots of success, and go big. If I could still answer any more questions, most happy to on social media. Happy to connect with each one of you. Evan, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Paritosh, for doing an amazing. Like even I felt up energy, and surely I'll try to rise. Like I used to wake up by 11 o'clock in the morning. From tomorrow, I'll give a try to wake up by maybe by 3 or 4, and
I'm
we'll.
sure your wife would be very happy.
Okay. So thank you, Paritosh, and thanks all the participants joined us. And surely I'll share Paritosh social media links and email on your email which you are registered for, and probably you can reach out as on LinkedIn to our page. And we appreciate your feedback for every webinar because that's the inspiration that we are getting from you. Please do give the feedbacks. The email that you are getting tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks, Paritosh, and all the participants. See you. Bye. Signing off.